all right, everyone. This is From the Margins with James Avant. Our dear friend Jimmy, welcome back. And I hate to start this episode like this. However, a dear friend of ours has departed, has left us. Phillip Toledo.
Yeah, Philip was a great individual, great human being, had a heart of gold. Sometimes it was kind of naive of how to use it, but I loved it because of that. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people. Sometimes people don't. He would always give you the benefit of the doubt. He was very good with mathematicians. And for those of you who do not know, he was the aide to Maribel Gomez Cordero, Commissioner for District 4. He was there for a long, long time.
Yes.
He was very efficient. He could do some research like nobody else. He could come up with numbers, factors, and things that would always make Maribel look good. And I'm going to call it out. He did. Uh, Sometimes he did not fully know who to trust and not to trust in the political arena, but he was learning on a day to day basis.
Yeah.
But it's something that we're going to miss. And for those of you who are wondering why we're so hurt, he was 28 years old. We're not talking about a 68-year-old or 70-year-old man. This is a 28-year-old young man who's not leaving any children behind. Before anybody says that any children or no children, no wives, no, he was a lived a very clean life. Uh, I love to have arguments with him uh, and have it back and forth because he could take it, and sometimes we disagreed on things. Like, for example, he still was thinking that Democrats could win over Republicans. I kept saying you could forget both of them and just pay attention to the independents. Those are the ones that are going to take you over. But yes, uh, he was very active in the Orange County Democratic Party. But I really, really hurt to hear that he is a part of this. But as a good and decent human being, he donated his organs so others can flourish. And that is who, in a synopsis, I could put down who was Philip. Philip was never a selfish person. He would give you a shirt off his back. And I can never really see him hold any grudges to anybody. He was very astute in that if you did something, he might not trust you, but he wouldn't throw it in your face. Uh, so
Yes.
that is the best way I could put it. Uh, like we say back home in Puerto Rico, que descanse en paz. May he rest in peace. And yes, we're going to lose somebody. And for the record, there's a lot of candidates running for public office, for commissioners in the next race, who
Mhm.
are going to really feel his absence severely.
No doubt. No doubt about that, Jimmy. Yep. Philip, I consider him my political son, and we've known each other for well over a decade, and he will be sorely missed. So
Under
thank you
those
for
premises, he was my political grandson. Okay,
that's right. That's right, Jimmy. I mean, he has known you since the day I introduced you, and that goes back a long,
long
long time.
time.
So
To my Maribel's first campaign.
that's correct. That is very correct. So he
Yeah.
will be sorely missed, and I did a tribute to him on one of my other podcasts, and that will, like this, will live on in eternity. So thank you for those kind words. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
no, no, he earned them and deserved it. It's two
He
things.
did.
Has
No doubt about that. He
no
did.
doubt about that.
He did.
So,
So
and for the record, he died between our last program and this one. So, those of you who are wondering, he took a turn for the worse on Independence Day, and he was after maintain and give all his organs now. But it's yeah, it is something extremely recent.
yeah.
Not
And a quick message to the men out there: men, take care of your health. Be proactive. ladies, take care of the men in your life and let them know that without your health, you have nothing. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, or like I like to joke with my doctor, who I happen to see today. I see him 3 times a year. He takes the blood out and we do the test. The last time I did a test that everybody thought I was crazy, but there is a blood test that will help you with Alzheimer to figure out if you have the things in your blood system that were indicated. And a lot of people are afraid to take that test. I took it and I passed it with flying colors. So when you
Excellent.
see me go kind of this, it's because I'm old, not because I have Alzheimer. But I've always been proactive. There's a test. Let's do it. Let's find out. Okay. What do I need to stop eating? What do I need to start eating? What is,
Yeah.
So it is something. And something that I've always found interesting about men, we take less care of ourselves than women. As a matter of
That's true.
fact, I was in the waiting room to see my primary doctor.
Mhm.
3 men, 10 women, and he's a primary. So before you start
Yeah.
say, well, no, he's primary. So yeah, it's a bad habit that men have had for years because we think we're strong, we're invincible, and also
Yeah.
like they say back home, we're full of shit. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
We need
I'll
to
be
take
seeing.
care of ourselves, and it's something that now Philip's death has caused me to even think more seriously because if you have a pain, don't wait till it's not going to get better.
That's true. I made an appointment for my annual checkup for next Tuesday. So, yeah, taking it seriously. I know I'm about maybe a month behind in scheduling that appointment, but it's something that I need to do. Take that time.
Hey, like I like to say, jokingly, that's what I have health insurance for. Let, let me use it.
Exactly.
Never
Exactly.
understood. If you ever use it or lose
Exactly.
it,
Right.
all right.
Simple as that. So,
So,
a lot else is going on in this world, Jimmy. We've got some developments happening in Maine just recently. I think it was earlier today, that Graham Plattner, the Democratic nominee for Senate, Maine Senate, to face off against Senator Susan Collins, has suspended his campaign due to uh, more severe accounts and allegations that he sexually assaulted a female acquaintance or girlfriend. Is this, what does that do to the Democratic Party in Maine and the
really,
Democrats?
if anything, sometimes you have to be careful because you could shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
Look, the hypocrisy of the Republicans talking about him, and I call it hypocrisy because right now I'm going to bring up two things that show. First, Paxton, we know now he has scandals about not paying his taxes, being unfaithful to his wife, and all that other stuff. He's still there, okay? And it's a 50-50 race right now. Maybe if it was somebody else, it would not be a 50-50. As a matter of fact, if it was John Corn, I would tell you Tarico would not have a chance. But that's where we're going. Uh, it is an interesting thing because what I like to call is, I don't know if you know who Congressman Nancy Mace is.
yes, I do. Soon to be former Congresswoman Nancy Mace. She lost her bid to be the Republican nominee for North Carolina governor. And so she is not going to be sworn in December or January as a
Okay. She
incumbent.
sent out a text that is what I've been saying for years.
Mhm.
Don't talk about transparency when it's been a month and nobody knows the physical condition of Mitch McConnell.
That's right.
Don't say that Democrats hit up Biden's health condition when right now Republicans are hiding Mitch McConnell's condition. Okay? It's been a month and he's talked to everybody and to nobody. He's texted people and that he's fine. Yet we don't know what happened. We don't know what he's being treated for. We don't know shit. But these are the same people who criticize what the Democrats did, which was wrong. I'm not trying to say it's right, but Nancy is right. If you're going to ask for transparency, it works both ways. Okay?
Oh yeah.
We should know exactly what's going on with Mitch McConnell. If he needs to be replaced, to let the governor of Kentucky replace. Oh no, he's a Democrat. We cannot look. That's not the way to handle this. But this is the way I look at Planter. If any of the four people that are being mentioned right now are nominated, Collins is gone. They're all moderates. They're all former elected officials. Some of them might be progressive or not, but at
Right.
this point, we're not taking out Planter because he's progressive. As a matter of fact, he got elected because he was progressive. So let's stop pretending, that it is for a different reason. We're taking him out for his scandals. Fine. Republicans, you pushed him out, and Democrats, you pushed him out. Rightfully, not saying that. But the person who's going to pay the price is not Planter, in my opinion. It's going to be Susan Collins. Because now she's going to have to run against a moderate who she cannot say, oh, well, he has a Nazi tattoo in his chest. Oh, he has all these women complaining about. No. She's going to run against a former state senator, a former state representative, or former secretary of state, and so on. It's going to be more difficult for her. So sometimes how do they say you're better off with the one that you know than the one that you don't know? Yeah, it's going to be more. But let me say something to those of you who really have something to say. Democrats, all of them, unanimously told them, get the fuck out of the race.
Mm-hmm.
Which we have seen Republicans not do it. Okay? They have never challenged some of the crazy people that they allow into the race. Now, have they spent $6 million to get rid of one of, by the way, and I like to say this because this is where the Republicans are such hypocrites. Did you ever hear the word Tea Party?
Yes. I've been waiting for someone to bring that up.
That was not 20 years or 40 years or 60 years ago. No, that's not the. That was the revolt within the Republican Party.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
right.
Some of those people have some really, really far right opinions, which people said there's no way. This is not what the American people think of. This is not what the American people want. Well, you know what happened? Republicans and what you call your primaries, you elect your crazies and get rid of your saints.
Yes.
Guess what? Democrats have copied you. So when I see you, no, look at this. The Tea Party was really radical to the right.
Yes.
And I mean really radical to the right. So, no. They call themselves Tea Party. They call them Socialist Democrats. Well, hey, one is crazy and the other one is crazy. That shows you that this country is going crazy. Okay? And that the people want the crazy people judged. Look, we elected Donald Trump. He's crazy. He's a liar. But that's who we want. So basically, stop pretending that we want normal people, that we want centrist people, because we don't. I would never call Donald Trump a centrist. I would never call him even a Republican. I don't even know what to call him. But that's who the people of this country decide to elect. That's fine. So when people tell me, hey, these people are communists, they are socialists, and the people don't want them, be careful about that one. Because lately, we're not electing centrists. We like to think that we are, but we're not. Right now, in Maine, you're going to elect a candidate for for the U.S. Senate, was more centrist than Platinum, which doesn't take much. Okay, understand that before you say that doesn't take much. But who is going to be the candidate who's going to meet Susan Collins, and she's not going to have the ammunition that she had against him. So uh, I'm not sure if the Democratic Party should send Graham Planter's ex-girlfriend a thank you note with a nice little check and some flowers saying thank you for little favors. Look, I'm going to say this. This is what I call hypocritical. We got rid of a senator from the great state of Minnesota
Oh yeah,
for inappropriate pictures.
that's right. Ugh.
Not that he had any female complaining about it. What he did is this girl was sleeping in a plane and he was pretending that he was touching her boobies.
Yep.
He didn't touch her boobies. He was pretending. Was it inappropriate? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was. But before he was a U.S. senator, you know what he did for a living?
He was a radio broadcaster, a host, a comedian. Jimmy, this purist perspective that
both sides have.
Exactly. We're freaking human beings. We're flawed. We have issues. Some are more serious than others. But in regards to former Senator Al Franken, the dude was a comedian, for goodness sakes. I remember seeing the picture. And I'm like, yeah, it was inappropriate.
And the spectrum of bad things.
Al Franken would do.
Does that really? But we're purists. And this is the thing that we become purists. We're such a purist that we tend to think in terms that show that we don't understand the majority of American people. Look, you can say whatever you want, and I don't give a shit about that. But is Donald Trump the nicest person in the world? No. Is he a bully? Yeah. Is he a liar? Yeah. Can he be offensive? Yeah.
Yes.
Is he the smartest man in the room? Yeah. But the American people relate to him. Okay? They do. For some reason, the middle class and the poor think that a billionaire is like them and can associate with them, but that's beside the point. They do. Would you, if he was a Democrat, would you consider him a presidential material? No. Look, I'll give you an example. I'll accept us. You had Joe Biden, not the smartest kid in the room, not the brilliant thing, but he knew how to reach a certain group of people. And those people responded. They elected him 20 times, 10 times as state senator. I understand that. I'm not going to be that. People elected him as president. I accept that. But lately, I don't think it's because people are electing people because they're leaders. I'll start way back 2020. It was Al Gore versus Bush. I never liked Al Gore. I didn't even like Bill Clinton. And for the record, he was a sexual pervert. It's the first sexual pervert got elected because his girlfriends and all came forward. Okay, let's stop pretending that it was something new. And what he did with Monica Lewinsky, some people joked about it. If he could run a third term, he would have gotten elected. And maybe that's true. I don't know. What I'm trying to get to is that people stop going back like it's something new. The week before George Bush was elected, it came out that he had a DUI. No big deal. People elected him. He had 4. Okay, he was there 8 years. His first 4 years, he was extremely popular. In the last 4 years, he was very unpopular. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then came Obama with hope, with change, and all that. And people, the liberal left went crazy. They saw the opportunity to elect their first African American thing. And I've never seen it, and it's never been repeated, but Twice he got more than 80% of the African American people to vote, and we have to assume that they voted for him. Maybe he motivated them to vote against him. I don't know, but I seriously doubt that one. Uh, and it was more of a change, hope. We're going to change. We're going to do better. We're going to everything else. Uh, what has happened in the last 20 years is something I saw last night. It's very true. People live in their little groups. They go and
Yes.
see Fox News and News Nation, and whatever goes on there, they believe. They see CNN and it's out now, and they believe them. Uh, they really, uh, for years, have doubted the press for reasons that are different than what most people think. If you sit down, people do not distrust the press because that they're fake. It's because they are owned by conglomerates. Last one was none of them did a real special on the epidemic of opiates because all of the news medias, including Fox News, are extremely dependent on the pharmaceutical advertisement to survive.
Yeah.
And they will say, I don't trust them because of this. Uh, they don't report this, they don't report that, tend to report all the negative stuff, very few of the positive stuff. And basically, they don't believe the media. Uh, and even those who will watch Fox News and Nation News will call them all fake news. And so with the people. So there is a distrust, but it's not only against the media, it's against the government. It's against, and it's two parts. They both think that the government lies to them, but in different ways.
Mhm.
Here's an interesting phenomenon. Republicans think that the media does not report all the horrible things that Democrats are doing. And Democrats, kind of different, and this one blew my mind, think that the media is not reporting how we're eating unhealthy foods, how we are not doing that the olive oil that they're selling is not a good product, how the FDA allows people get away with misrepresentation and labeling, how the government has not protected them, like in Katrina, for and that the people in North Carolina when the hurricane passed and FEMA did not was nowhere to be found, and so the Democrats are more of a distrust of their government, and because they distrust the government, they think that the government controls the news, and the news does not report what they're supposed to be reporting, which I found interesting. So it is a distrust both of the government and of the media. Uh, you know, yes, Republicans don't trust CNN and MS Now. Democrats don't trust News Nation nor Fox News. That goes without saying. Now, question is, how does that harm our country? I'm going to say this: those of us who have the tendency to look at the news outside of this country and see how they, just to see what's going on there and how
Mhm.
they see us. The last big scandal before the breaking of again of the war in Iran, and that was kind of like, because they were pissed off because everybody knows that FIFA is corrupt. It's been reported and proven.
Mhm.
And so the call when it went out, they thought that he influenced and that it was inappropriate. And how other countries than Belgium were happy that Belgium beat the crap out of us. It's kind of interesting to see that. But hey, I wonder if it was the reverse, how we would have reacted. So that's the way I always like to do this.
Communication. Yeah.
But right now, they don't think they could trust the U.S. They don't think they know they cannot trust Trump. Most of the countries outside of us think that the war was a mistake. That Netanyahu, even in his own country, This is the thing that when I go to Israel news medias, it blows my mind that if you think that you have news media here criticizing Trump,
Mhm.
it's nothing compared to the news media in Israel, how they criticize and criminalize Netanyahu. They don't like him.
Oh, that is very true. Yes, I've seen some of the articles out of the Israeli news media, and I'm like, whoa, wow. Yes, he's not well liked.
Okay. If you go into Europe now, it's about the war in Iran and how Trump is still threatening to with the Greenland shit, which it's really uh, so. This is the part that is interesting. So I want to bring it into the war. Look, the reason I'm going to say what I'm about to say is I don't think it was thought through or reviewed properly the memorandum of understanding. Basically, what it said is that the strait was going to be open to commerce and that the U.S. and Iran reserved the right to be with pirates or inappropriate ships that went through.
Hmm.
And I was like, is anybody really reading this? U.S. never did. I'm going to say it. Iran, yes, used the bullshit excuse that these people were pirates, and I'm going to accept that it was bullshit. They hit them, and the United States responded. Um, my question to all of you right now is: A, do you believe there's still a ceasefire? Kind of interesting. I don't. Why? Because it's been firing. Two, do you think that there's progress with the things coming out of the meetings? Well, let me put it this way: after the president going to Turkey and the way he talked, um, I'm not sure if Iran is going to say, "Oh, sure, you insulted us, and yeah, we're going to sit down and negotiate with you."
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is, yes, he bombarded uh, some other things and things like that. And fairness, uh, there was a request from Iran, which I think was a very appropriate request. We're going to have a funeral here, ceremony, and we expect all countries to respect. That is common courtesy 101.
Sure.
And for Trump to say, well, they asked us not to bombard. Well, yeah, that is a reasonable request. And yes, the people who are in there agreed to it, and there was none. But they were quoting cartons against Trump. Well, yeah, if you don't think that people around the world hate him, then you again don't understand it. And basically, the person who ordered the killing of the people who are in the coffins was Trump. So let's not try to
Mhm.
pretend that they don't have a reason to be pissed off over it. I don't see the war going any better. And if you're going to start blockading the strait, well, the little prices that went down are not going to go down. And guess who's going to pay that price?
Mhm.
Uh, look, Ed, we started this. People don't like when I say it. We started it. Yes, for 47 years they've been doing this. 47 years they've been doing that. I'm not going to argue those points. But the ones who did it was us. And the first one to take their ass out of it and remain silent and don't care if Iran is hitting a ship is called Israel. It was a three-party war.
Mhm.
Maybe some of you forget that, but I don't, was Israel, U.S. against Iran. Okay? Now we've heard nothing of Israel when we have bombarded back Iran for its consequences. Israel is nowhere to be found. And at this point, I don't want to go into the debate who started it. Is it justified or not? I don't give a shit. I really don't. Right now, if the strait is closed again, we are going to hurt. And we're going to hurt for a long period of time. And this is something that I don't think was thought through. If he thinks that this is going to make points for him politically, that it's going to show him as a strong leader, and that is going to help him with the midterms, there's an estimation that it's going to take about 3 to 4 months before prices of oil become reasonable. Right now, we have seen that it got all the way down to almost $3.50 in Costco and I hate to say Sam's Club. Now, after the bombardments, it's back to $3.83. This is not going to happen politically. Sorry. American people vote with their wallets, not character. Sorry. Really, if it was character, Bush should have been the most popular president of all time. He went to Iraq and took it down. He went into Afghanistan and he tried to take it down. I'm not going to say he took the whole country because that would be unfair.
Yeah. Afghanistan, Iraq.
But if showing that you're tough and wars helps you get an election, Donald, you need to learn from Bush. George lost his popularity because Americans don't have stomachs for war. They do not believe that they're justified. I'm sorry, they don't. And the worst part is that it was not Bush who took out Khomeini. It was Obama. And did it help Obama? Not really either. And he took down the engineer of 9/11. Okay?
Yes.
We thought that would have. It didn't. Americans think with one thing. Wallet.
Yeah.
Everything else is immaterial. And if price of gas and everything keeps going up, yes, there's going to be some serious problems to pay. I'm sorry. We have to call it as it is. Who started it? This is the thing that I never forget from one of my grandmother. Two of my cousins got into a fight and they broke a vase that she loved and liked, and she got from her grandmother. And like she kept saying, I don't give a shit who started. I still don't have a vase.
Mm-hmm.
If you think the Americans are going to say, well, Trump was right in what he did and he responded appropriately. Yeah, those are the MAGAs, and some of them, because some of them, MAGAs are wholly against this war. They're wholly against this war. And they want him out and they want it over and everything. But the biggest problem is you could try to justify it, but when you're paying $3.85 a gallon of gasoline and the seats keep going up because the stretch is closed again, yeah, when people keep seeing that this war is continue going on, you could say you have a ceasefire, but we're still shooting each other. Nobody buys that there's a ceasefire anymore. So most people still think that the war is going on. This is not going to help anybody. It's going to hurt everybody. And something that I'm going to say this, and I want you to ponder on this.
Okay.
Who benefits the most if this war keeps going on? Iran or the U.S.?
You're not gonna like my answer. However,
Oh no, there's only one answer. If you think that Iran did this with not knowing the consequences and not knowing that this would continue the war, they knew it. They knew
yeah,
that it was how he's going to was going to react. What I'm trying to say to everybody is the person in the country who has the most to lose. Look, they're fanatics. Did you see how many people were out there to this funeral? They are fanatics. They believe in it. They would die for their beliefs more than we would. We don't want to die for it. They don't mind. What I'm trying to say is it does that does this war going on make Trump more popular? No. The most and oh, let me put it this way: do most Americans agree with this war continuing? No. Is there a small sector? Yes, and that small sector it's going to continue being a small sector, but most Democrats and most Republicans want this war over. And by provoking the U.S. to do what they did, I think Iran knows what they're doing. And I think this is like the kid who's, oh, okay, I'm going to put the little thing here. I defy you to take. You did it. Who fell for it? Me or you? And that's just what I'm trying to say. They fell for it. Uh, the thing that could have been done, it could have been done in a different way. But right now, if the stretch is closed, I'm going to say this: the whole world is going to suffer, including us.
one big question, Jimmy. Which Iran are we talking about? We're talking about the Islamic Republic of Iran, the hardliners, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, or are we talking about the clerics? Are we talking about the civilian government, or are we talking about the citizens? Because
We don't,
there's
we
because
don't have the right to ask that question.
how come, Jimmy? Because
We created that problem.
I don't think so. That problem
Oh
was
no,
there
we did.
going back
Before
in
the Ayatollah was alive, everything went through him. The other groups could protest and can make it talk, but at the end of the day, the Ayatollah was the one who said, "We're not going to do nuclear weapons. We're not going to do this. We're not." And he was the one who was calling the shots.
the
Now we have
Ayatollah.
the son who is wounded by us, and who created the chaos of leadership in Iran was us. But if you want to ask who, at this point, the question is who's making the decision in our government? Is it the Congress? Is it the Senate? Is it the president? That is the concern that we have. You know, we don't know how Donald Trump is going to react, and he's unpredictable. What I'm trying to say is, can we come and say, okay, who did this? Look, at the end of the day, whoever's in charge has the support of the Iranian people. I like to think in different ways. Yes, you if you're on the TV cameras, you have to respond in a certain way. Yes, and I understand that. Yes, but you don't have to be out there, and you don't have to respond to the cameras. But you had women and men out there protesting and supporting their government. You know, this is the part that I've always found hypocritical about us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, does everybody support Donald Trump? No. Does the whole American nation support Donald Trump? No. Is there a group that does? Definitely, yes. Was he elected our president? Yes. Has he lost support? Yes. Does he speak for all of us? No, he doesn't. He is our president, but the things he does, do we all agree with him? No. As a matter of fact, the majority of this country didn't agree with the war in Iran. And that's a fact. You cannot, there's a very small group that does. But so if you ask me who does it, really at this point, Do they have divisions in their government? Yeah, so do we. Call Congress, call the Senate, call the executive, call the judiciary. And who made the decision here? The executive. Did the Congress ever approve this war?
No.
No. Did they
Nope.
approve this treaty? No. Did they approve this a memorandum of Senate? No. So basically, we could say that there is a chaos in the country, but at a certain point, we created.
Jimmy, to go back to your question, who won this war? And I don't think that's the right question. However, let me answer this. Let me answer it. Not too long ago, you and a mutual friend of ours argued that Iran has, or the United States has lost this war. The memo of understanding is greatly in favor of Iran. I will concede that fact. Yes, the memo of understanding does concede, has concessions for Iran that encourages them to become more of an international partner. So, taking that premise that they've won or that the United States has lost, and then they also had the agreement with Hezbollah and Lebanon and Israel, everything has been laid down on the table. The memo is agreed upon. Iran has won. Why would they fire on the ships, sovereign ships, commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz, knowing that all hell will rain upon them for breaking the ceasefire and firing on the sovereign commercial ships and on the United States allies in the Gulf? I guess determining who in Iran made that decision and what were they thinking. They won and now they're back at war. It's a death cult. Whoever made that decision is a death cult, and I think the United States is allowing the death cult to eliminate one another, and the United States will just finish up where they leave off, and let the moderates rise to the top.
That is hope.
Mm-hmm.
And so could it happen that more radicals rise to the top? You never know. Just
death cult.
Okay. To be quite honest, why did they shoot at those three ships? Their reasoning, I do not accept 100%, but they told them that they had to clear that they weren't sure that they were not there to attack them and it was self-defense. Okay, fine.
My understanding, Jimmy, is that
let's cut the bullshit.
They were going through a part of the strait that was not controlled by Iran, or that Iran could not control or told them. So they were fired upon. That's my understanding based on
and to be honest, they were fired on. And for the record, yes, none of the three ships was sunk.
Right.
Okay. And the three ships comply with the requests of the government. Okay. Because that's the other part that we leave out of. Okay, yes, we'll inform you what's our cargo. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fine. To that, our president decides to go crazy and attack other areas and say, well, okay, now you shot at three ships and we threw out almost 50 bombs. So it's a proportional ratio. The thing is, can they provoke us that easily is my concern. Look, they didn't have to sink a ship. As a matter of fact, I think there were 4 windows taken out in each ship. That's the tops of what happened. Okay. Shouldn't have not done that. Well, okay. Basically, I wouldn't even conceive that point. But does it justify what we did? I don't know. But here's the thing: do we want the peace or don't we? Look, have they won the war? Yes. Do they distrust everybody? Yeah, they do. Do they distrust their neighbors because they assisted us? They do. I understand that. And for those of you who do not know, there's 2 types of Muslim religions, and they don't like each other. I'm putting it mildly. Okay, they're enemies. So yeah, they don't consider you a Muslim if you're not, So on. Okay, that's fine. So when you say other countries, these are been their enemies for years. They're competitors, and they think these other people who have convinced the U.S. to not allow them to sell oil, so they can make more money. Okay, it's all I understand. The question I have here is point number one of this memorandum was to say very clearly that they wouldn't shoot at each other. And this is why I think that the Iranian people outsmarted Trump more than we try to give them credit for. Those ships were not American. They were from other countries. Technically, in the technical sense, and this is a country of technicalities, the United States, they didn't break it by hitting one of our ships. Now, somebody in Washington should have been smarter and say, hey, you cannot shoot at any international other ships of other countries, and then there would have been a violation of the Memorandum of Understanding. But the question here is, does Iran going to, now that they have bombarded them, are they going to respond? And if they're going to respond, how are they going to respond? And if they respond, how are we going to respond? Now, here's the thing. Okay. There's a lot of lies that they don't have the capability of responding. They do. They've proven that in the past, and we know they do. So, can they respond bombarding the U.S.? No. Can they take out Kuwait? Can they take out airports in Saudi Arabia? They've done it, so they can. Do they still have that capability? Probably yes. I'm going to be blunt as I say this. I don't trust anything that comes out of the administration's mouth about this war at all. I don't. Zero. Just like I don't trust what comes out of the Iranian publicity. I don't trust it either. I give them both distrust. Now, the concern I have is not really if we kill 20 of theirs and they kill 10 of ours. That is a war. My concern is we had open the stretch. And let's clarify this. Yes, Iran shot at these ships. Mm-hmm. But between those ships, over 200 ships passed by through, okay? Since we signed the memorandum of understanding that were not shot on, okay? Let's call it as a, these were not the first 3 ships that were coming through and they just, no. There were other ships that went through, okay? And there were ships that went to Iran and bought oil and left the stretch too, okay? We had to give that credit too, okay? And the money was deposited in international banks and all that. And yes, Iran got its money back from the U.S. Yes, okay, we're good. Is this going to say to Iran, hey, if you feel threatened, you don't have the right to respond? I don't know how they're going to respond to that. I do know right now we have a problem. We have a memorandum of understanding signed by 2 countries by people who don't trust each other. And we're going to say this Iran doesn't trust us and we don't trust them. Let's stop pretending that they should think this way or that way, and we should think that maybe and the way that they think. Look, they don't think that way, and we don't think that way. At this point, all they care about is being able to feed their people and feed and take care of their infrastructure. And yes, they could go back to selling legitimate gasoline, or like I like to joke about, you asshole liars, they were selling for years to China through the black market the bitcoins. We all know that. So it's like, well, they haven't been in the international market. We would all come down. No, China was buying a lot of petroleum from them, and they were paying them in bitcoins. So before we start pretending that we struggle, then, well, other countries didn't buy from them. Okay, and I would agree with that. But there were a lot of African countries buying from them. North Korea and China were buying. It's kind of interesting, but that's things that we try to pretend. This war needs to end. Needs to end on both sides. And this, well, you started it, it's kind of crapola. Because basically at this point, we need to sit down and work out the details. And right now, we need somebody there who knows how to negotiate peace. And we really don't have one person who knows how to do it, who has the expertise of doing it. Pence, full of shit. Jared, he's making money off the Saudis and people like that. He's not really a peace negotiator. I mean, I'm sorry, he isn't. And his friend isn't either. We need professional people who could do this, sit down and say, okay, I'll give you this if you give me that. I'll give you this if you give me that, and work out the details. And I think that once we have 60 days without shooting at each other, we might reach an agreement. But right now, you see, and this is also the mentality that I do not understand on Iran. Iran is saying, hey, we're not shooting at U.S. ships. The promise was the agreement, and they reached, and I agree, it does read, that we will start shooting at each other. But these ships are from Panama, these ships are from Afghanistan. We're not shooting American ships. And that's kind of a technical point, Iran. You might want to.
Jimmy, come on.
You might want to be careful. And that these ships are not even going to the United States. I agree, they're not. They're going to Africa. I understand what you're saying.
Come on, Jimmy.
But, oh, well, no. Hey. We've been using, we are the nation of technical points. So let's not criticize when other people use it on us. I like that, I always found it fascinating. Well, that's a technical point. Yeah, well, if it wasn't for technical points, people would, us lawyers would not have a job. So, let's stop that. So, yeah, but it is what it is. I think we need to stop this war. It's not helping anybody. As a matter of fact, and what I was trying to say, it makes the leadership of Iran more popular with the people of Iran than it makes Donald Trump popular with the people of the United States. That's what I was trying to say. They're fanatics. We're not. We think with our wallet. If our wallet is affected, we don't care who's president. We'll vote you out. And we've done it more than once.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy, do you think that Iran's capacity to remain a top oil producer in the world has been diminished, given the fact that they once provided 40% of the world's supply of oil, now is approximately 20%? We have Venezuela online. We have an oil field off of Israel that may come online. We have the possibility of a pipeline through Turkey, better routes through the North Sea, and other different infrastructure improvements to theoretically make the Strait of Hormuz a non-issue as it, in comparison to prior to this military action.
I think whoever thinks that way doesn't understand the real world. First of all, the pipelines will not be into effect for at least 4 or 5 more years. And even when they are, how good is the flow going to be? That's a good question. What has happened, and most people do not want to understand this, car sales have been down for the last 20 years. We all know that. That's why companies like Pontiac quit. That's like products like Saturn quit because the sales are not there. Now you have cars with hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
You have European cars that are hybrid. Do you know what is the largest car company in the world?
BYD.
And how much gasoline do they use?
Not much. They're hybrids.
And they're mostly electrical.
Yes, sir. I want one.
We all want one, and that is the problem. Every country who produces oil is down because its consumption is down.
There's a glut.
There is a glut. So when people say, well, is Iran going to be affected? Yeah. So is Saudi Arabia. And so, and let me put it this way. I find it funny when people say this, but I had to laugh because, okay, so let's say Iran is still selling $2.8 billion a day of oil. It goes down to 1.8 billion. Okay, that would affect this economy. Yes, but still, with 1.8 is a lot of money. Right
a lot
now,
of money to fix their infrastructure, a lot of money to feed their soldiers, a lot of money to feed their civilians. It's not much left.
and yeah,
They're getting
yeah.
bled. They're being slowly bled. You know, 1,000 tiny pricks. Their economy.
They get money from China. They get money from Russia. They get money from North Korea. Because at the end of the day, they all need their oil. And the truth of the matter is that the more, do you know that if you go to Europe, you could buy a BTV cheaper than you could buy an American car?
Oh yeah, BYD. So yes, I know. I've
So
been watching that.
the
Oh
sale
yeah.
of gas guzzlers in Europe and in India, which also produces good electrical cars, is disappearing immensely. That's why the request for oil is down. It's the only reason we don't have BYTs here. Get ready to blame the Democrats for that one. Biden put a tariff on BYTs that are so high, it's not economically feasible for you to buy one here in the United States. As simple as that. They're great cars.
Yeah.
And this is the other reality that we don't understand. Top of the line of Jeep is the Jeep Loretto.
Okay.
Do you know how much a Jeep Loretto costs?
Top of the line, I would say $82,000.
92. But you're close.
Okay. Damn.
You take the top of the line SUVs for Kias, for Hondas. I could keep on going,
Yeah.
and you're talking 50.
Jimmy, you are right.
But
Hybrid, all the new technology.
but they're wondering why we go out there and people like you drive a Honda.
Shoot, I want a long-lasting car that's affordable.
You know, so why don't you buy them? You see, the problem that I have with the megas and all these Republicans, they're hypocrites. They drive Kias, they drive Hondas, they don't drive American cars. But we want to bring back manufacturing to the United States. First thing I could do is buy an American car. Oh, wait a minute, they're not made in the United States. I forgot that one too. Do you know that Buick is made in South Korea?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
everybody thinks that's an American car.
Yes, true.
Several cars
Buicks.
from Ford and from GMC that are made in South Korea. But let's not even go that far. The majority of the parts of our cars are made in South Korea. But we buy American.
One of my private pleasures is watching the auto shows in China, and I see
And
Buick.
daydreaming the day you could have a BYT. I know.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, this is what bothers me when people say, we're going to make America great again. We're going to be our factories. Fuck, stop buying American.
It's a great slogan.
It's a
But
great
give me my
slogan.
BYD any day.
No, it's full of shit. Okay, Amazon, 80% of their product come from China. Can we agree on that one?
That's true. Yes.
Temu, 100% of the products come from China.
Yes.
And who is the biggest buyers of Amazon and Temu?
We are.
But we want to bring back factories, okay?
We do need to have manufacturing here. I mean, the pandemic proved that, supply chains need to be here in America. When we had to get our, N95 masks after we ran out, we had to get them from China. That's some bull crap, Jimmy. No.
Well, let me ask you a question. And this is a very simple question. You have 2 children?
3 kids, 3 young men.
Would you like them working in a factory at $18 an hour, or do you want them to be professionals? You know the answer to that question. That is the problem. Also, we don't want to say it. We don't want to say it. Look, at $18 an hour, you cannot pay to live in an apartment.
Okay.
How much is the average apartment in Orlando?
Oh my goodness. I think for a 1-bedroom, we're talking about what, 1,900, 2,000?
Okay, at $18 an hour, do the math. You're going to be spending most of your money on rent and food. And the problem is that we have made ourselves impossible to go $18 an hour. And I said $18 like that was a lot of money. In manufacturing, that's the second problem. Look, I'll give you Oreos, which I know you love.
Yeah.
They were in Canada.
Yeah.
They will move from Canada to Mexico for 98 cents cheaper production cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why they're not here? Because the cost that to produce them in Mexico, we can't match it. People there are making $8 an hour, and they're static. Here, offer somebody $8 an hour, and they'll tell you where to go. That's the problem with manufacturing. Manufacturing is profitable, but the reason it left here is simple: the cost of living. You cannot have. I'll give you another example. Have you ever heard of workman comp?
Yes.
That's a cost.
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturer, you could have to have workman's comp. Correct?
Yes.
You don't have to have workman's comp in Mexico?
Different rules.
Put your factory down there. That's a big saving.
Sure.
That is the problem with manufacturing. We like to talk about it like we need it, we have to have it. It's going to be the saving factor of our country. But I'm a businessman, and I'm going to go to the U.S. to produce something, and it's going to cost me 18 cents to produce in the U.S., but I could do it for 2 cents in Mexico. Why would I go to the U.S.? Most of the companies that are in Mexico, Canada, Philippines, China, and all that, they're American factories. Schaefer pens,
mm-hmm.
made in China. Schaefer were originally made in the U.S. by American standards, for the record. Hell, I'll go a step further. Made in China.
But Apple is returning
No, it's not.
because they are, Jimmy. They are returning. They are
No, they're
returning.
not. They're pandering to Trump. They're not going to return because they cannot afford to make a phone here.
With the select tariffs that the administration has put into place, some companies, some industries have no choice but to come back to.
Oh, they do. The tariffs are going to be gone in 2 or 3 months, if not sooner, because right now he doesn't have the right to charge what he's charging. The Supreme Court told him that, and they're going to be challenging. And I'm going to go a step further. This,
Mm-hmm.
if he fucks with this, he's in. That's the end of it. If people say, "What? You want me to pay $5,000 for an iPhone?" I'm not paying it. As a matter of fact, he has a problem right now. He has not sent out his iPhones that he promised people.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, the Trump phones.
They're not even, they haven't even been manufactured. And the interesting thing is that when he said, "And they're going to be manufactured here," I was going, where? We're not going to have factories here for it. No, look, there's pandering and there's pandering, but realistically, Americans, if you want your factories to come back here, go work for $8 an hour.
Now those jobs are being automated.
Yeah, and by the way, don't worry. Give it 5 years, and AI will take all the jobs away, and we're going to be fucked.
We'll live on a high universal basic income, and we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves.
No, we'll know what to do with us. Look, you're in a different society. I could say this. I grew up taking a city bus.
Mm-hmm.
Most kids today don't even know what a city bus is.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up going to a mom pop store down the road and buying a soda and cookies and putting on mom's account. Mom would pay at the end of the week, as long as it was for food. I grew up in a neighborhood where we played outside because we didn't use our phones to play.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. I remember playing street ball, and I tell that to kids, and they go, "Street what?"
Yeah, tell me about it, right?
Yeah. Or I remember I learned how to deal with girls because I was out on the street. I had to deal with them. Okay. This now you have boys that don't know because all they do is they Siri, how should I approach a girl?
Oh Lord.
Oh, don't go there. You know it's true.
Yes, it is. And Chat GPT girlfriends and boyfriends.
And that is the group of people that are going to take us to the next level. I'm sorry. But when I hear people say, again, I said this last week, let's make America great again, it never stopped being great. It just changed.
Yeah.
And back in the 50s, we didn't have pagers, which most kids, if I say pagers, they'll go, what that? Yeah. Okay, we didn't have pagers. Basically, not everybody had a phone. When we grew up, not everybody had a phone.
Yeah, we didn't have them. Yeah. Oh,
basically, if I came home and I said that my teacher slapped me, my mother would ask me which one. Here, okay, Joe would hit me there. Oh, the teacher was always right.
Yep, same here. Oh man, get it at school, get it at home.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I remember I had a fight in the neighborhood with kids, and I was bleeding here, bleeding there. You know what my mother's question was?
Was the other kid worse?
Bingo. Yes, Mom. Okay, we're good. I never forget. There was this neighbor. Oh, your son is after my daughter. Well, my mother answered, "Hide your daughter." It's times have changed.
Yeah.
Are they for the better or the worse? I do not know. But I enjoyed this country when I was a kid, and I
Yeah.
enjoy it now as an old fart. Is there things that could change and be better? Yes. Look, when I grew up, this country was in the South was legally segregated. Okay, in the 50s and the 60s, it was legally segregated. Let's
Yeah.
stop pretending that it wasn't. Okay. As a matter of fact, our city of Orlando is one of the few in Florida that still has a division street.
That's true.
Okay, and for those of you who wonder why is he bringing up Division Street, I'll let uh, David answer what Division Street meant.
Division Street meant in Florida before I-4 was erected, meant that Black population stayed on the west side and the white population stayed on the east side.
And the whites could go west, but the blacks could not come east.
That's right.
Let's clarify that because it's not that they were. No. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's get this clear. In 1964, there was the lynching in Ocoee.
Yes, that's correct.
So, so when people tell me in the good old days, there was a lot of good things. Don't misunderstand me. But there were some things that you were really, ooh, is this true? So, things change. Are things better now? Yeah. Are things, when people tell me, well, the problem is that we get our news on the phone, that's true, we do. As a matter of fact, I love what somebody told me the other day. People are going anti-Israel because of TikTok and Instagram and the photos published here. Yeah, you're right, they are. But the question should be more, are these fake pictures or real pictures? Because if they're real, then people have the right to react the way they are. And that is the thing that we didn't have. Look, a lot of times you did not see what was happening. Now, with a phone, you take a photo, and it's on Instagram in less than 3 seconds. As a matter of fact, I have one thing that I will say: things are worse. I don't give a shit what you're eating. Stop sending me photos of what you're about to eat. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't want to know. So those of you who keep taking pictures of your food before you eat it and telling me, look what I'm about to eat, I don't give a fuck. Okay? So so if you want to ask me what things that I think are worse now, that's one of them. That and somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to pretend that there's somebody else and asking me how I'm doing.
Oh.
I never forget. I was once in the hospital, and a friend came in to see me and say, "Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing?" I go, what the fuck do you think? I have an idea. What a stupid question is that? How am I doing?
I know. I know.
And he said, no. But
my question would be, what did you do?
Okay. So let's go to the fuck ups of the week.
Yes, sir. Let's bring it home. All right.
Fuck up of the week on the Republican side is trying to pretend that Mitch McConnell is okay. Trying to say it's okay to hide his health for 30 days from the American public, that you talk to him on the phone or that you text. The American public criticized the Democratic Party for hiding the health problems of Joe Biden, and they were correct. But the people who mostly criticized that were Republicans, that the Democrats were hiding his real health condition, that the Democrats were not transparent. Well, in the words of Nancy Nace from South Carolina, a Republican congressperson, you're a bunch of hypocrites. Now, I'm going to make it simple for the Democrats. Your fuck up is that you did not realize that you were about to lose the independent vote in Maine if you by continuing to support Mr. Planter. Now you lucked out, and you should send her flowers and send you a thank you note to his ex-girlfriend. She put in a silver platter the excuse you were looking for to get rid of him. My only concern is please don't fuck it up. This country is not centrist. You have the MAGAs to the right, which I would say is 35 to 38% of the U.S. population, and you have us progressives to the left, which are 40% of the population. That is approximately 75%. 25% might be moderate. Fine, that's not the majority. If you don't know math, I'll teach you math. I'll have a class of math for you every week. Look for somebody who is new. Look for somebody who is progressive. For Pete's sake, the Democrats in Maine elected a progressive. They had a centrist. They had the governor of the state, and they ignored her. And the other candidates did not come close. Vote for somebody who has progressive ideas. And you will get the Democrats to vote for him or her, and you will get the liberals to vote for him, and Susan Collins will be bye-bye. Don't try to make whitewash it and put one of your good old boys, because you're going to fuck it up. With that in mind, let's see ourselves next week. Make your comments. I haven't heard anybody commenting lately, because they not told me that we have comments. So I have to assume we don't have comments. Or maybe he hasn't had the time to look for them. Oh, he's hiding them from me because they're good and they're not criticizing me.
We do. Next week, Jimmy, we'll have comments. We do have comments. It's some good ones.
We're going to be answering your comments next week. Mm-hmm. Like it, unlike it, subscribe, don't subscribe. But please, please remember one thing. Your enemy is not your neighbor. Your enemy is the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Senate, and some of the U.S. businessmen. Those are the ones you have to be careful. Otherwise, have a great week. And I hope you enjoyed your 4th of July. And Philip, I hope to see you someday. Take care.
God bless, Jimmy.
God bless to you.